one thing that I could just magically snap my fingers and stop everybody from wasting their money as a school owner, it's wasting your money on boosted posts. They don't work. Instead, let's use a targeted ad campaign. So you got to go into Ads Manager. You got to make sure that you're looking at all the data so you know what ads to keep on and what ads to turn off. And you need to be doing that several times a week, not once a week, several times a week, in order for you to really see great results. It's so important that you're doing these things. Today, we're talking about how to lower your advertising costs. Now, I don't know about you, but I love being able to lower my advertising costs because it means I can get more leads in, which can then convert into students. If you ever felt like that before, you're like, okay, how do I lower this? So what I want to do today is I'm going to be talking to you about how to actually do that, about how to accomplish lowering that advertising cost, the steps that you need to put in place to do that. And I want you to make sure you hang around because at the end of this, we're going to talk about what to do to create sustainable leads and enrollments so you can do this at scale and grow your martial arts school. For those of you who don't know me, welcome. I'm glad you're watching this video. Just a little bit about me. I'm actually a second generation martial artist. My dad, he started the school back in the early 80s. And as a kid, when I was growing up, man, I was just a dojo rat. I was on the mats all the time. But the problem is that we just didn't have that many students. We were doing great curriculum-wise. We were going to tournaments. I was doing all that, and that was growing perfect, but just not a lot of students. I think the highest we had was close to 50 students. So by the time I graduated high school, we were looking at whether or not it made sense to keep running this thing or just shut it down and have some private students that we trained in our backyard. And I didn't want to do that, neither did my dad. So we went all in. We invested into mentorship, marketing systems. I started traveling across the US, figuring out what other schools were doing and implementing it. And we took the school from making a few $1,000s a month to making over $1 million a year in about 4.5, 5 years. And then we didn't just do it once, we kept doing it for the last 14 years. We've made over $1 million+ in our flagship school. And so what I want to do is I want to show you guys, I want to teach you what we've been doing inside of our own school and how you can do the exact same thing in your school as well. By the way, now I actually not only have our flagship school, I own a couple of other companies, one of them being Figure Dojo, where we help school and academy owners turn their passion into profit. So how do you actually lower your lead cost? I'm sure you're probably like, okay, well, what do I do here? There's 3 different things that I want to encourage you to do. Number 1, make sure you're running some type of internal event every single month where you can bring in leads from the outside, from your existing students. Even if you have 20 students, every month you should have some type of event so that you're bringing in students, bringing a friend, having a parents' night out, doing a workshop, doing a seminar. You got to be bringing in your students who are going to bring their friend. Second thing, you want to make sure that you also are going out into the community. You need to be going to community events. You need to have a presence there where you're actually asking people for their information in exchange for a free introductory lesson. Listen, I've had people tell me, oh no, I don't do demonstrations before. Me neither. Can't tell you the last time I went and I did a demo. It's probably been like, I don't know, 10 years, something like that. I don't do demos. If I want to do a demo, it's for a demonstration team because my kids like performing. But it's not because of getting leads. It doesn't work. I'm talking about getting out there, offering an introductory lesson and saying, hey, I've got this free lesson. How old is your son? How old is your daughter? What's his name? How can I, what's your name? What's a good number to reach you at? Let me schedule you for that free lesson. That's what I'm talking about. Go in the community, go do this. I literally have had people go do this exact same thing in parks and get their first few leads. So the only thing that's stopping you from going and doing this, if you're desperate for leads, and I get people all the time, they're like, I would love to work with you. I would love to be able to join. I just don't have enough students. I don't have enough. Like, go get these students. You got to get outside your doors. They're not coming to you. Okay. Number 3, you need to have online advertising. People have their nose in their phone like 24/7, 365. Why are you not in front of them? Why is your ad, your school, it's not in front of them? It needs to be. You need to have that. So how do you do it? Have a website, but most importantly, not everybody's searching for you. They're not searching for Your school or academy, the vast majority of the population isn't even aware that they should be taking martial arts or doing music or dance or whatever skill set it is that you offer. They need to be interrupted in their daily life to even bring this in to their purview and bring it into their reality. And that's where online advertising can actually come into play. Now, if you're doing online advertising, there's a couple of things that you need to do to lower that cost per lead, because you're like, okay, but how does this lower my cost per lead? Because what I'm saying is, if you do an internal event, you go do external events, and you do online advertising, you're going to have a lot of leads, and you might be paying, let's say you're paying $1,000 a month. Well, if you're doing all of these, instead of just getting like 60 or 90 leads in a month, now you're going to be getting 150 to 200 leads because you're getting them from all these other places by only still spending $1,000. So you combine your online advertising with these other things, it's going to lower your cost. But how do you lower your online advertising costs? That might be the next question. Well, I can tell you what we do for our clients and what really has helped to be able to lower that advertising cost. Number one, we make sure that we switch out the creatives very frequently, meaning the pictures, the images, the types of ads that we run. We don't just leave it on and go, man, I hope that it gets some leads in the next week. I mean, sometimes we're switching out these ads every 48 hours. And with that being said, you have to be able to have a lot of ads that you're generating, a lot of things that you're putting out there. Sometimes even being able to create enough graphics can slow a lot of school owners down, which is why a lot of school owners utilize us, because we have an in-house graphic artist that does all this. So bottom line, you got to make sure that you're actually getting it out there, that you're actually going and you're putting a bunch of different images and ads out there. Second thing is, you need to look at the data on a regular basis. That means you can't look at a boosted post. That's not what I'm talking about. A boosted post, really, if there's one thing that I could just magically snap my fingers and stop everybody from wasting their money as a school owner, it's wasting your money on boosted posts. They don't work. They don't work. You're going to take a post that's not designed to get somebody to actually take action. You're going to put that post there. You're going to hope that people in your area actually see it, even though you're not targeting it correctly. Facebook looks at it completely different. Instagram looks at it different. Stop doing it. Instead, let's use a targeted ad campaign. So you got to go into Ads Manager. You got to make sure that you're looking at all the data so you know what ads to keep on and what ads to turn off. And you need to be doing that several times a week, not once a week, several times a week, in order for you to really see great results. It's so important that you're doing these things. And then the other thing that you're also going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you really focus a lot on avoiding this mistake. I'm going to tell you this mistake right now. Letting your perspective, your eyes for what you like, well, the kind of ads that you respond to, be the ultimate ad that you put out there for others. In other words, I've seen school owners that are maybe martial arts school owners, and they have just like this amazing arm bar where some guy is like about to get his arm snapped off. That's not appealing to the average mom who's going, oh my God, I can't let little Billy do that. He might break his arm. Or I've seen, boxing, kickboxing schools, they got somebody getting punched in the face. And man, I'm looking at it going, yeah. But the mom or the person who's never considered doing training before, they're looking at it going, oh, I don't know about that, right? So don't let your perspective on how you would perceive ads and whether or not I should do it or I shouldn't do it, don't let your perspective stop you or stop another potential person from coming in, because you're allowing what you like to be the ruler, the dictator of what ads get shown. And that right there will make your ad costs go through the roof. Let the market decide. You have to let the market decide. They're the ones that ultimately are going to be purchasing. Most people are not you. You're a school owner. Most people aren't you, right? So if you're a school owner, then that means you put all your energy, all your effort into your craft. Most people maybe want to come once, maybe twice a week at the most to participate, right? So you got to think about those things. And then I know I told you guys, make sure you stay to the end of this training. Like what are you going to do to create sustainable leads and new enrollments? That's the key, right? Like making sure that you're able to do this long term, not just I did it for a month and it worked. Woo! What about the next time and the next time? What about during the worst months of the year? Like maybe for you, the holidays are the worst months of the year. Or maybe for you, summer, which is if you're here in the US and Canada and the UK, you're watching this, summer's right around the corner. My Australian friends, you're watching this and winter's right around the corner for you. So what are you going to do? How are you going to make this thing work? You see, I found that if I just try to wing it, if I just try to go, gosh, I don't really know what I'm going to do next month, but let me try this and let me go try that. And maybe I'll try this thing that I saw. The reality is that I have a lot of inconsistency, and inconsistency breeds more inconsistency. The only way that I'm going to get sustainable lead flow where I actually grow over time is to have a consistent marketing strategy. Marketing is different than advertising. Advertising is I put an ad in something. It's a one-time, maybe a frequency. I'm going to put a few ads. Marketing is the skill set of selling to many people. And a strategy that rolls out is a consistent strategy. There's multiple things you're doing. So if you do not run your business, it is going to run you. You have to think about it like, okay, what am I going to do next month and the month after that? What are the consistent things I'm going to do every single day, every single week for the foreseeable future? For me, I follow that 1, 2, 3 strategy. 1 internal event every month. 2 external events minimum every month. 3 online paid traffic sources. I've got to have a website that I'm paying for. I got to have Facebook ads. I got to have Instagram ads. I got to do those minimums every single month. And here's the thing. The most successful people in the world, the wealthiest people in the world, the people who have the most time in the world, they've learned one thing. They've learned that they have to leverage not just what they know how to do, but they have to leverage the fact that there are certain skill sets that they are better at, that they're more uniquely suited and talented for than other skill sets. And they have to learn how to start plugging in the right people so that they can then move up to another level. For example, right now in your school, if you have something that is repetitive every single day that you're doing, maybe it's like cleaning the floor, or maybe it's marking a student's attendance card, that is probably something that you could hire somebody else to do. And they could do it, and it doesn't take a whole lot of skill for them to do it. Now, on the flip side, if you were to try to hire somebody to be the CEO of your school, you probably couldn't pay them enough to do it because you're the one that has that highest level of skill, right? So you've got to be there thinking about what is my vision for this school, for this company. And I think there's a lot of people, I used to be there, that didn't think about it as a company. I just thought about it as a hobby that then turned into a business. And hopefully we'd make enough money to be able to pay rent. But at some point, when you start turning the corner and you start looking at it like it's a business, not just a side hustle or a hobby, then you got to start thinking like a CEO. A CEO is not doing things like cleaning the floors or marking an attendance card. A CEO is going, okay, these are tasks that need to be done so I can do higher level tasks like arranging an event inside my school or going out into the community or seeking out who can help me with my online marketing strategies. And maybe that's where you're at right now. You're like, okay, I got to take something off my plate. I'm not getting in leads and all of that. And I need some help with that. If that's you and you feel like now is the right time, I invite you, like, go to sevenfiguredojo.com/call, schedule a call with me or one of my other team members, and let's talk about what it might be like for you to go, okay, I want a consistent marketing strategy. I want something that I can consistently do every single month. If that's you, you can go ahead and click that. If you're not ready for that step yet, I want you to write down a list right now in your school of things that you're doing that you need to offload. You need to get to somebody else so you can do higher leverage tasks. And this is really the secret to being able to lower your advertising costs. Because right now, if you're trying to do all of this yourself, you're paying an extremely high amount of money and time to do both those things. So think about what you can do to condense that. Think about what you can do to help lower that advertising cost overall by helping to delegate some of the things that you're doing in your school to other people. Hey, listen, if you made it to the end of this video, congratulations. Go ahead and put hashtag replay in the comments. I go back, I check. I love seeing who's actually watched all the way to the end of the videos, as well as who's watched this on replay. So if you made it to the end, hashtag team finisher. If you watched this on replay, hashtag replay.